JFK was shot on the 22nd of November 1963 in Dallas, once through his neck and once in his head, cutting off a piece of his head. It's still not known today what person, besides Lee Harvey Oswald, was part of the shooting. This is where the shooting was located. Right near here is the Texas School Book Depository.
Our theory is that the shooter from the Texas School Book Depository was Oswald, and we assume that and know that there was another shooter due to physics. This is the room where Lee Harvey Oswald shot the first bullet that killed JFK.
But why was Oswald suspected?
One of the reasons why we know Oswald was one of the shooters is because he was a known communist.
Lee Harvey Oswald stated to the public that the best religion is communism.
Just a couple months before the Kennedy assassination, there's evidence that says that Oswald ordered a rifle from Klein Sporting Goods and American Rifleman.
In fact, he begged his mother to lie about his age so that he could get into the Marine Corps early. Isn't it strange that the Warren Commission never wondered why a dedicated young communist would be so driven to join this organization with an agenda to thwart communism and kill communists?
This is Lee Harvey Oswald's activity in the months before the assassination.
But why was it thought that there was another shooter?
This picture shows evidence that according to physics, there is no possible way that the bullet that went through JFK's head was directed from the Texas School Book Depository. It was shot from the grassy knoll. However, there could have been a shooter from the depository, just not the one that hit JFK in the head.
The Mannlicher is so cheap and hard to work, there's no way Oswald could get off 3 shots that fast.
As you can see in the background, a black figure, which is a man in a trench coat and hat, standing near the direction where the second shooter was placed on the grassy knoll. In this picture, there are circles that are identifying places where a car was driving away from the grassy knoll after the shooting.
We think that Jack Ruby was the other shooter because we think that he came up with a conspiracy to kill JFK since he killed Oswald. We also believe it was him because of evidence such as photographs and interviews.
This is the clip of Ruby shooting Oswald. It is thought that he shot him because together they came up with the secret plan to kill JFK. He did this to destroy the evidence of Oswald.
But why Ruby?
Violence and organized crime were part of Jack Ruby's life. Born Jacob Rubenstein in Chicago in 1911, he is one of 9 children. His family lives in a tough Jewish and Italian neighborhood on the city's west side.
He's a street brawler. He's a thug.
Ruby drops out of school at 16. He has just finished the 5th grade. Then some say he goes to work for Chicago's biggest mobster.
As a young teenager, Ruby was with a gang of youths that ran errands for Al Capone.
As the article says, Ruby died on January 3, 1967 due to lung cancer. However, this is very questionable considering the relatively short time period between the assassination and his death. This caused suspicion that Ruby had already known of his terminal cancer, which might have contributed to his actions such as murdering JFK.
Ruby, who has plenty of friends on the force, enters with ease, possibly through an alleyway door, and moves into the garage.
Ruby is connected to these cops enough that maybe the cops let him in because the cops knew him.
This was an interview with a lady named Jean Hill, who was standing right next to the grassy knoll. She said that the man who was wearing a trench coat and hat. She said that when she saw a picture of Ruby, she knew it had to be him because the shooter's characteristics were the same as Ruby.
Why and how did Ruby do it? Ruby claimed he acted alone, out of a misguided sense of patriotism, to spare Jackie Kennedy the anguish of a murder trial in Texas. More than 40 years later, however, many people believe Ruby was really part of a conspiracy to kill the president.
Nothing was more effective in destroying evidence than the role played by Jack Ruby in killing Lee Harvey Oswald.
Was there any connection between Ruby and Oswald? It appears that the latter, according to the testimony of several people, he was in one of Ruby's nightclubs on the Thursday, the eve of the murder of President Kennedy. It is also reported that when Oswald saw Ruby in the police station, his face contorted in horror and he insignificantly covered himself with his arms. Obviously, he knew what was to expect. These are just a few aspects of the affair. Overall, our theory is that Ruby and Oswald came up with a conspiracy together to kill JFK because they both had background, such as Oswald being a communist and Ruby having background with the police. Oswald shot from the Texas School Book Depository and it went through JFK's leg, and the one that Ruby shot was from the grassy knoll, which went through JFK's head and killed him. This assassination was a big moment in history, which surprised America. We are still not exactly who killed Kennedy today.